Alright, so in keeping with the format of Driving with Dragon Slayer, let's have a conversation about electric vehicles. I know there's this big push going on right now to get rid of fossil fuels and to go to electric everything. And there's some things about that that people just do not consider. You know, first off, they don't consider the environmental impact that manufacturing the components for an electric vehicle has. You know, they don't look at the damage to the earth that comes from mining lithium for lithium batteries. They don't look at the damage that comes from disposing of said lithium batteries. They don't look at the fact that you have to be able to generate the electricity to charge the vehicle. And a little bit more expanding on that, my friends over at the Unspecified podcast and review channel recently put up a video about their experience going through Hurricane Ida, I believe it was, that had gone through the Louisiana, Alabama area and had knocked out power in a big area of it. And one of the things that came of this is that in order to keep their house cooled, at least somewhat, in order to keep their food fresh in the refrigerator and the freezer, in order to keep the lights on so they could see, and to be able to cook, whether it was a microwave or an electric cooktop or oven, they had to run generators. Now, with the power being out and the damage from the storm in their local area, they ended up having to drive across state lines to be able to get fuel for their generators and fuel for their car. They also had to go across those state lines to be able to get groceries. Now, if they'd been in an electric vehicle instead of a gas-powered one, they would have been hosed, because their only option for being able to charge said vehicle to be able to go and get the supplies that they needed would have been to run a generator. You know, electric vehicles, as of right now, October of 2021, have a range of somewhere between 200 and maybe 350 miles, to be generous. That's not going to last very long. Especially if you're stuck in traffic from people trying to get out of the state to go get supplies as well. If you look at their video, you can see what I'm talking about with how much traffic there was trying to get to resources. If you're sitting in traffic and you've got your air conditioning on, you've got, say, a radio on, you've got anything going, you're going to be running your battery down. So, I think more people need to consider the fact that the technology for the stuff, great though it might seem, isn't there. Even outside of that, say, hey, okay, they were able to get from their house to the neighboring state and find an electric charging station. They would have had to have been there for, 45 minutes, hour and a half, or longer, just at that one charging station to be able to charge their vehicle. It's not necessarily a practical option in all situations. Now, I put another video out regarding vehicle emissions and climate change, because one of the big things that I always hear about why we need to get rid of gas-powered vehicles or diesel-powered vehicles to go to electric is to avoid climate change. Well, a couple notes on that. One, climate's going to change anyways. That's what it has done the entire existence of our planet. Anybody who doesn't think that, I don't know what to tell you. Go back to school and study science again. But when it comes to climate change, well, you know what? Check out my other video on it. It expands more. But the basics of it is that the vehicles aren't having the same impact that everybody seems to think they are. Anyways, that's my 2 cents.